calculate the mean, standard deviation, and the variance of a frequency distribution. Now, a frequency distribution organizes your data. If you have a lot of numbers, like 100, 200 numbers all in one place, you really want to organize them into a table. That makes it easier for us to see what the distribution is. So we need to organize our data in classes. Now let's take a look at an example. I have a table here, and this is data from 50 students in a statistics class and their ages. So I summarized the data by the following table, and you see that I have 5 classes. The first class, for example, is from 15 to 24, and we have 18 people that fall into this category. And the second one, 25 to 34, and we have 13 people that fall into this category, and so forth. So we want to calculate the mean, standard deviation, and the variance. Before we can do that, we have to find the midpoint. And from a previous class, we have learned how to find the midpoint. We have to add the lower limit plus the upper limit and divide it by 2. So let me just do this for the first class. 15 plus 24 divided by 2 is 39 divided by 2, which gives us 19.5. So the midpoint for the first class is 19.5. And I'm going to write this in here. Now to find the other midpoints for the other classes, we can actually do this real easily. We have learned last class how to find the width of a frequency table. So we just find the width of our classes here, and we can see that the difference of each lower limit or upper limit for that matter is 10. So the width is 10, and we keep adding the width now to our first midpoint, which leaves us with 29.5, 39.5, 49.5, and 59.5. So now that we have our midpoints, we can now find the mean of a frequency table. So here's the table again with the midpoints, and I will show you how to use the calculator. We need to make sure that you enter your midpoints in L1, and the frequency goes into list 2. But I will show that when we use the calculator. Okay? Okay, we have used the calculator, and we found out that the mean was 32.1. So it is important to use the correct sample. This is a sample mean, so the symbol for the sample mean is x bar, which is equal to 32.1. Now, the standard deviation, if you scroll down, when we used our calculator, we found S to be 12.4. And we need to round to one more decimal place than our original data, and our original data was in whole numbers, so we're rounding to one more place. And the variance, we actually have to use manually. The calculator will not give us the variance, but the variance is the standard deviation squared, so S times S. You use the value from the standard deviation, 12.4, and multiply it by 12.4, and round it 153.8. That's the variance. So now we have learned how to calculate the mean, standard deviation, and variance of a frequency table using the calculator. Let's take a look on how we can draw a histogram based on our data value from the frequency table. Let's draw a histogram, and we're using Excel. I've already opened Excel, and I have entered the values. Go to Insert, go to Column, and we're using a 2D column, and here is your histogram. Now we want to make sure a histogram has no gaps, so you need to get rid of the gaps. And I'm going to show you how to do that. You right-click on your columns, click on Format Data Series, and now you can see where it says Gap Width. Just move it all the way over to 0 and close, and you have a beautiful histogram where you can change colors. I'm a color person. You can also change your layout if you want to add the axis title for the horizontal. Today's lesson was on creating a histogram, calculating the mean, the standard deviation, and the variance.